I am back with another Colleen Hoover book. I have become obsessed with Colleen Hoover. Today we are going to be reading Ugly Love. So many of you guys have recommended this book to me. So many of you rate it as one of her top books. I've actually only read 2 of Colleen Hoover books. The first book that I read from Colleen Hoover was It Ends With Us, which I enjoyed, but it wasn't a 5-star rating for me. And I don't see myself rereading it again just because it was an emotional roller coaster and I don't want to go through that again. But last week I read Verity and I give that book 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books now and I can definitely see myself rereading it in the future. It was so good. And since I loved Verity, which a lot of you guys also recommended for me to read, of course I had to pick up Ugly Love and I'm so excited to read this book. And in case you haven't read this book yet, don't worry, I won't spoil any of the main plots. I will give you guys my honest thoughts and final opinions at the end of this video, but I'll definitely give you a little spoiler warning beforehand. Throughout the video, I am going to be commenting on the book and you'll get my first impressions of the book as I read, but again, I won't spoil any major plots. And in case you haven't read this book, this is the summary. It's not exactly love at first sight for Tate Collins when she meets the tormented and secretive Miles Archer. They wouldn't even go so far as to consider themselves friends. The only thing Tate and Miles have in common is a mutual physical attraction that can't be denied. Once their desires are out in the open, they realize they might have stumbled on the perfect no-strings arrangement. Friends with benefits, like, come on, it's 2022, we should all know that doesn't work. He isn't looking for love and she doesn't have time for it, so that leaves just the sex. What they've got could be surprisingly satisfying as long as Tate can stick to the 2 rules Miles has for her. Never ask about the past, don't expect the future. It's kind of harsh. They think they can handle it. I bet my life savings they cannot handle it. But everything is different when real emotions start to change the equation. Obviously, hearts get infiltrated, promises get broken, rules get shattered, love gets ugly. An unforgettable love story that breaks all the rules. Am I going to cry with this book? I feel like I'm going to cry. I'm not ready for it. The anticipation is killing me, so we are just going to jump right in and start reading. I love the cover of this book. I think it's so pretty. Let's start reading. Chapter 1. Tate. I love reading the sentence of Colleen Hoover's books because they're always so dramatic and hook you in from the get-go. So the first sentence in Ugly Love is, "Somebody stabbed you in the neck, young lady." Like, what? Okay. And then it continues. "My grandfather used to say the placement of a birthmark was the story of how a person lost a battle in their past life. I guess you got stabbed in the neck. Bet it was a quick death though." Who says that? And is that true? Interesting. I just got to chapter 5 and the first 4 chapters have been interesting to say the least. Right away I noticed that this book is going to tell the point of view of both main characters, both Tate and Miles. And I love when authors do that. The author of the off-campus series, Elle Kennedy, does that. She writes her books from the perspective of both main characters and I love that. That's one of the main reasons why I fell in love with the off-campus series, because I love getting to know both characters in a book, especially if it's like a romance novel. Like, I love hearing the guy's perspective as well as the girl's perspective. So I'm really excited that this book is divided between both characters. So far, I haven't really been able to really get to know Miles, if I'm being honest. His parts in the book so far have been set in the past, 6 years in the past to be more exact. Obviously something happened to Miles in the past that's important and that shaped him to be the way he is now, because why else would Colleen write Miles' perspective in the past, you know? And I wonder if this entire book is going to be with Miles' perspective set in the past and if at some point, maybe towards the end, it'll merge with the present. I'm curious. But so far it's not bad at all. I am going to make some coffee now because I am a little bit tired and I need something to pick me up. So let's go make some coffee and then we'll continue on reading. Why is coffee so damn good? Anywho, back to reading we go. Guys, look who joined me and is gonna read. You're gonna read with mommy? Hi, cutie patootie. You ready to read? Look at that face. Oh my goodness. So far, Miles is kind of growing on me. I still don't really know much about present Miles. I still only know a little bit about past Miles. But the present Miles seems to be protective of Tate, and they've only known each other for 2 weeks, so it's kind of cute that he's that protective early on. I'm curious to know what's going on in his mind whenever he interacts with Tate. Tate's feeling flustered being around him already. She feels nervous. She's getting all these sensations and she doesn't know what to make of them because she barely knows Miles, and I as a reader barely know Miles, so I can only imagine how Tate feels that she barely knows him, but the only thing that she does know is that he's making her feel some type of way, which is cute. So there's that. I like that quote. Still no smile though. Jesus Christ, this man. Does he not realize that facial expressions are supposed to accompany speech? I love that. That sums up Miles so far. Doesn't really show his emotions or what he's thinking. I'm sitting here wondering, how in the world does Tate think that having a friends with benefits relationship will ever work? Like, it's obvious that she's extremely attracted to Miles, and I'm like, girl, you're falling for him and you don't realize that? You haven't even like slept with him yet. So if you're already falling for him without sleeping with him, imagine how you feel once you sleep with him. So that is why I think friends with benefits or relationships with just sex is a bad idea. And I feel like Tate is going to get her heart broken, which she already got her heart broken because they kissed and he immediately regretted it. So there's that. This is how you know that Tate likes Miles. She goes, he's obviously attracted to me or he wouldn't have kissed me. Sadly, that's enough for me. I don't even care if he likes me. I just want him to be attracted to me because the liking can come later. Girl, you clearly have fallen for him. And they haven't even slept together yet. I'm so curious to see how this friends with benefits situation comes along. Who proposes it? I bet you it's Miles, 100%. All right, so Tate knows that this friends with benefits thing is not a good idea because she goes, I'm not so sure that just sex with him is possible. Maybe if it starts out this way, it'll eventually end up being something more. Always. That always happens. She knows that she's insanely attracted to him and she knows it's going to be a bad idea, this whole friends with benefits thing, if you can even call them friends because they barely know each other. But she's like, you know what, fuck it, why not, let's do this. Even though I know I'm going to end up heartbroken, I still want to do this. I still want to agree to this friends with benefits relationship. Tate, you're going to regret that, Tate. You are. Tate and Miles had sex and my heart breaks for Tate because she felt disappointed on the aftermath of them being together. But I also think that Miles is falling for her. I still haven't read a chapter where it's from Miles' point of view in the present. I'm still reading his point of view from 6 years ago. But based on the interactions that he's had with Tate from her point of view, I think he's falling for her. Maybe it won't end up in heartbreak. I don't know. Something just happened in Miles' past. I think I know why he's so heartbroken. Miles is being a complete ass right now and I don't like it. Oh man. I'm more than halfway done with the book already and shit is going down. I'm finally going to learn why Miles is the way that he is. Alright, I'm getting kind of annoyed at Tate for letting herself stay in this friends with benefit situation knowing that it's hurting her. Like, girl, you're already hurting in the relationship. You might as well hurt and still have your dignity. I don't know. I'm really annoyed that she keeps going back to Miles. even though he's been upfront with her saying that he doesn't want anything, or he can't give her a real relationship, and he can't even love her. Yet she keeps going back. Like, girl, stop. Oh my god. I just found out why Miles is the way he is. Never in a million years did I think that was the reason why he's closed off and doesn't want to love anyone. Wow. I feel so bad for him now. I'm finally at the part where Miles is now sharing his point of view in the present day. Found out what broke his heart into a million pieces, and wow, it's so sad. It's the worst pain anyone could ever feel. Now it all makes sense why he is the way he is. I'm not gonna lie, I found him a little bit annoying at certain points in the book, but now that I know like what caused them to be closed off and not want to let anyone in, I just feel sorry for him, and I feel so sad. Wow, Colleen Hoover has a way to just take your heart and break it into a million pieces. I just finished the book, and not gonna lie, the last chapter made me cry. As I was reading, I felt my tears falling down. I don't even know what to say. Oh, like what the heck? All right, I need to gather my thoughts here because I don't know. It is now the next day, so I've had all night to process my thoughts and my emotions. This is the part of the video where I will give my final review of Ugly Love, so if you haven't read it and you want to stay clear from spoilers, X out of this video right now and then come back to it once you have read Ugly Love. Alright, so Ugly Love. Where do I even begin? I have so much to say about this book. I actually wrote in my notes app things that I wanted to mention in my review so I wouldn't forget anything and so I wouldn't ramble on and on and on because I can ramble for a long time. Let's start with the characters. Tate and Miles. I really like Tate, but she made me so mad throughout this book because here she is as an RN pursuing her master's degree in nursing, and she's lowering her standards, putting her needs and her wants second to Miles. And that really pissed me off because yes, she was attracted to Miles. Eventually she falls deeply in love with him, but she still isn't upfront with him or even herself really about what she's feeling and why she shouldn't go on with this arrangement that they have going on. Throughout the book, she was talking about how she feels at peace when she's with him, but also every time she was done being intimate with him and she would have to leave right away, she would feel sad and depressed and feel like, what the hell is she doing? And I was like, what the hell are you doing? Clearly, he doesn't want anything more than the arrangement that you guys have going on. Well, I say clearly, like clearly, because we both know that Miles ends up falling in love with Tate. But even if Miles came out and said, hey Tate, I'm in love with you, but I don't want a relationship with you, that should tell her, all right, well, I love you too, but I do want a relationship, so let me take a step back and I can't be with you in this friends with benefit arrangement that we have going on anymore because it's hurting me. And I felt bad for Tate, and I just wanted to like scream at her and shake her and be like, stop, you deserve so much better than just being with Miles once every 2 weeks when he's not working. So that pissed me off a lot while I was reading. And then obviously I thought that Miles was an ass, but I also knew that something devastating in his past had happened for him to act this way. So when I read that he lost his son and then the mother of his son blamed him for his death, even though Miles obviously had nothing to do with it and he did everything that he could to save them both, I understood why he closed himself off from any type of relationship and any love, because I can't even imagine losing your son within a few days of him being born and then having the mother of your son, the person that you thought was the love of your life, blame you and then leave you. And on top of that, you're only 18, so you're still figuring out life, and then you have this huge tragedy happen to you. It can't be easy. I don't blame him for cutting people off. I probably would have cut people off too if I was in his situation. And also, we all need a friend like Ian because he did the shaking for me. He literally laid down the law on Miles and told him to stop being an idiot because he knew that his best friend was in love with Tate. So he didn't want to see Miles let Tate go and ruin his chance of true happiness. So I'm glad Ian stood up to his buddy and was like, listen, you're being an idiot. She loves you. You love her. There's no reason why you guys can't be together. That moment just made me love Ian so much more. Even though I found him so annoying at some points throughout this book, I do have to give it to him. He was completely honest with Tate from the very beginning on what his expectations were for their little arrangement. Yes, he wasn't honest with his feelings later on, but she knew exactly what she was getting into. Honestly, Tate has more patience than I do because I would have been like, deuces, you can't treat me like that and expect me to be waiting for you once every 2 weeks. Like, no. I do have to say that there's a quote at the very end of the book that I loved, and it goes, I'm looking down at the perfection recreated when it hits me. It's all worth it. It's the beautiful moments like these that make up for the ugly love. It perfectly sums up what life is about and why you shouldn't close yourself off for love. Of course, heartbreak sucks, especially his heartbreak and losing his son, unimaginable pain. But once you find your person and the person that you're meant to be with, those bad moments simply become moments. They don't define your life anymore because that person that you choose to share your life with brings you all the good that life is about. So the good outweighs the bad, always. And I'm so glad that Miles figured that out, and I loved the ending. The ending was so cute. I even teared up. I literally was reading in bed and a couple of tears were rolling down my face because I was like, oh my god, this is so cute, and I'm so happy for Miles that he finally found the peace that he needed. And I loved how the last chapter of the book flash forwards 2 years, so when they get married and then when they have a daughter, that last moment when he looks at his daughter and realizes that he can love her just as much as he loved his firstborn doesn't make him a bad person, and it shows him that he still has so much love to give and that the world is not all bad. So I absolutely love the ending. The ending could have not been any better. I also think it's so funny that Cap knew Miles all along for his whole life, and he never once told Tate that, or never once shared his conversations with Miles with Tate and vice versa, even though we find out towards the very end of the book that Miles was always talking to Cap about his relationship with Tate. And I love that little discovery. I thought that was really cute. Good for Cap to keep all those conversations private and to not share it with either Tate or Miles. I thought that was really cute and just shows what kind of person he is. All in all, I recommend this book 100%. I think it's a great read. The writing is amazing. Colleen Hoover hasn't disappointed me so far. I give this book like a 4 out of 5 stars just because there are a couple things that annoyed me in the plot, but that's honestly on me and the type of person I am, that I just can't overlook those little things like Tate settling for less than what she deserves before we found out the truth about Miles, of course. And honestly, the ending definitely made the book for me because I was getting so frustrated as I was reading. Verity by Colleen Hoover is still my favorite book from Colleen Hoover, but Ugly Love definitely comes in second. So if you haven't read this book, definitely pick it up and read it. Such a good read. I read it within a day, in just a few hours, because I wanted to know why Miles was acting the way he was, and now the cover makes complete sense. If you have read Ugly Love, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. What did you think about the plot? What did you think about the ending? I would love to know your opinion. But that's pretty much it for today's reading vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you a part of my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.